This information applies to you in an apartment or a rental house, any type of situation where you've got possession of real property and a security deposit is involved. The information that applies both when you move in and when you move out is best contained on a checklist. Before you sign the lease, when you are taking possession of the house or the apartment, you should walk through it with a representative of the landlord, either if it's a person who's a landlord or a leasing agent, whoever's in charge. Walk through it room by room on the unit that you are now going to rent. You want to look at every wall, every window, every door, the carpeting, it should all be visible, the bathroom fixtures, which are faucets, drains, the water fixtures. Make sure the air conditioning or heater works, and check the flooring if there's tile or linoleum floors. If you have a garage, you want to do the same thing there. The landlord should have a checklist of these different areas and have a place for it to indicate what the condition is, whether it's excellent, good, fair, or if there's any damage. You should have any damage fixed before you move in, or their agreement on when it's going to be fixed. One thing you need to also remember is the landlord can come into the unit at will, in order to, according to the terms of the lease, to come in and make any necessary emergency repairs. Get an understanding with them of what type of notice you'll get before that's going to occur. Anyway, back to the checklist. You want to take a picture of any damage that is in the property, and make sure that you save that. The checklist should be finished and signed by both you and the landlord representative, and then you should keep a copy. If you take pictures of any of the property or any of the damage, you should provide copies of that to the landlord and make them sign a receipt or other acknowledgement that they have copies of those. Then you need to hang on to this information all the way through the tenancy and until you move back out. Then when you move out, just like your checklist at the beginning is done before you sign the lease, when you move out, you need to go back through the property again with a representative of the landlord with a copy of the first checklist. Go through the same process at the end. This time you want to do it before you give them back the keys, while you still have possession before you turn it back over to them. The reason for this is because you will be assessed you're likely to be assessed for damage to the property. So you want to show them what the property was when you moved in and what the condition of the property was when you moved out. You don't want to leave yourself open to be charged or pursued. They can sue you for damage to the unit that occurred while you were in possession. So you want to make sure that it's an open and shut case, that everybody understands what the condition was when you move in, the condition was when you move out, and then check your lease for the terms on the return of your security deposit. At the time that you move out, you should have a written letter ready to hand to them with a copy of the move out checklist that says, please give me my security deposit back. Recite the amount that it was given, your unit number or your address for the rental unit, and then follow up. Different states have different rules on when residential, I'm talking here residential, meaning where you live, landlord and tenant security deposits can be or have to be returned. Some places it's 2 weeks, some places it's just by whatever's in the contract. So you need to know what that is. It should be specified in your lease, and that would be another thing to mark into your lease when you first move in and say, what is your policy on returning security deposits? When can I expect it to be returned to me? How many days after I move out? Will it be that day? Will it be 2 weeks after? Just find out what that is. But when you make it clear you're going to walk through before you give them the keys back, then that puts everybody on notice and everybody understands and agrees what the condition is, and then it's more likely that you're going to get your deposit back on time, and they're not going to give you some kind of a runaround or pursue you for damages. And the easy thing is to say, well, we're going to keep the security deposit. One other thing to understand about the security deposit is that you are not automatically, in most places, you're not automatically allowed to say, well, I'm giving you my 30 days notice to move out. Take my security deposit. You already have it. That's a month's rent, and I'm in the clear. A lot of leases will have a clause in there that you specifically are prohibited from applying that as the security deposit as your last month's rent. And if you try to do that, you're in default, and now you owe them a month's rent, and you forfeited the security deposit. Okay, and that's just completely unnecessary. So if you follow these steps, you should be well on your way to getting your money back, having a clean getaway from your landlord situation, and you can move on to your next place.